Welcome everybody, welcome to this Shore Up Your Life Skills series of videos. This is Anil Kumar with you. We are talking about negotiation skills. What is negotiation? Negotiation is a give and take. It is trying to hash out an agreement. It's trying to get a bargain. It is trying to make everybody happy so that the result is suitable for each and every party. Negotiation skills involves speaking, listening and settling differences. So it is conflict management, it is problem solving, it is creative thinking, it is critical analysis, it's everything. So how do we say we have negotiation skills, or what are the skills that form part and parcel of the negotiation skills? It could be rapport building. If you already have a rapport, you should know how to solve the problems if any that crops up. You have to make decisions from among the given alternatives. You have to be assertive at some times. You have to deal with difficult situations, and then you should have the capability to think critically. So what is negotiation? Negotiation is aimed to achieve the best possible outcome. Negotiation is fairness, seeking mutual benefit and maintaining a relationship. The interests of different people, the legitimacy of the people involved, the alternatives that are available, the options, the commitments, the communication, everything for each and every party who come to negotiate are different, especially the BATNA, the best alternative to a negotiated settlement. You will always have an option or a solution which is not a negotiated settlement, and you may choose to go with that instead of the result of the negotiation. So you should keep that in mind when you enter a negotiation table, and especially you should remember the other party also has their own BATNA, the best alternative to negotiated settlement. What are the elements of negotiation? The process, the behavior and the substance are the main elements of the negotiation. You will have a strategy. The other person would like to agree a process with you on negotiation. You will use certain tools and techniques and methods and procedures, and then there are the tactics employed by each of the negotiating parties. It could be husband and wife, it could be boss and subordinate, it could be client and the corporate, it could be anybody. The trade negotiations between two countries for a bilateral relationship or the negotiation at the World Trade Organization are examples of heated, hard negotiations. The process refers to how the parties negotiate. The context of the negotiation, the parties to the negotiation, the tactics used, the sequence and the stages are all important. The relationship among these parties, the communication among these parties, and the styles they adopt decide how the negotiation will go forward. The substance refers to what the parties negotiate over, the agenda, the issues, the positions, the interests. So substance is what the parties negotiate over, the agenda, the issues, the positions or the interest, while the behavior is the context of the negotiation. The parties to the negotiation, the tactics used, the sequence of the stages, the relationships, the communication methods, the past history, the styles they adopt. That's what. The process is how they negotiate. The process is how they negotiate. So what are the negotiation stages? Preparation and planning for the negotiation, that is doing the homework, what went wrong, how, why, where, who, what can be done, what are the alternatives available, why we should negotiate, to what extent we can give concessions, what might be the plan of the other person. Defining the ground rules, how the negotiation goes forward. If you look at it, there are Dubai International Arbitration Rules, Doha International Arbitration Rules, London and Hong Kong International Arbitration Rules, where when two corporates enter into a problem, arbitration is done by a certain set of rules approved by International Chamber of Commerce. So every negotiation needs a definition of ground rules. It could be a discussion between the boss and subordinate regarding the appraisals of performance rating, but still you need to know what are the boundaries. There should be clarification and justification. Clarification of what are the demands and justification about why you have a certain understanding. There would be bargaining and problem solving. Each party will be trying to get closer to their stand. Then there has to be a closure and you have to implement the agreed settlement. What is preparation and planning? What's the nature of the conflict? What's the history leading up to this negotiation? Who is involved? What are their perceptions of the conflict? Why and how we reached this level? When and where the meeting will take place, you have to pre-agree with the parties. People normally may like home turf. When the North Korean leader and President Donald Trump met, they met at an independent place, not in North Korea, not in USA. Somebody would like to avoid home turf for various reasons. The assessment of what the other party's negotiation goals are is very important. That's a part of the preparation and planning for the steps and stages and the arguments. What concessions might be allowed should be pre-decided before you enter the negotiation table. The definition of ground rules. Where will it take place? As we discussed, it could be at home turf or an independent place. What time constraints are there? Will you negotiate for time immemorial or unlimited? Or is it you will have a half an hour negotiation? If nothing could be agreed upon, you will agree to meet again. What are the issues that negotiations will be limited to? Of the various aspects of the problem, which aspects you will touch upon and which aspects you will leave around. Will there be a specific procedure to follow when an impasse is reached? If something goes wrong, if you cannot agree an agreement, what will you do? You need to exchange the initial proposals and demand it during this definition of ground rules stage. So you will know what problem you are facing according to you, why you agreed for a negotiation, and what are your proposals or demands for each party about the other. Then there is a stage of clarification and justification. The parties will meet to explain, to amplify, to clarify, to bolster, to justify their demands. Why originally somebody thought something? Why originally somebody said something? Why originally the demand was in certain faction? And then you can justify that, or based on additional information or clarification got, you may modify them. So it is not a confrontation. It is not a confrontation. This stage is for getting an opportunity to educate or inform each other about their own stand, their own understanding of the issues, where they come from, their own angle or perception of the matter, why they are important according to you, how you arrived at this particular decision or understanding or perception. And you have to provide maybe evidences, maybe anecdotes, maybe documents to justify why you think what you think. Then comes the bargaining and problem solving. What is the actual give and take? To what extent you will give concessions? What compromise are you willing to reach to resolve this problem? Ultimately, during this bargaining and problem solving, you have to have a resolution. You have to reach an agreement. You have to agree upon something. The last and final stage is closure and implementation. Once you agree, you have to document it, get it properly signed and sealed, and roll it out for implementation. Each party has to act their portions, and then there has to be a monitoring and ensuring that this problem never ever recurs. So the need is for formalization of the agreement, hammering out the specifics, and developing the procedures for monitoring the implementation. So these are the various stages of the negotiation skills. Now there are certain strategies. Mostly it is a collaborative strategy that is very popular in negotiating a settlement. If you look at Harvard has a negotiation college or a unit or a school that talks about negotiations. Establishing superordinate goals, separating the people from the problem, focusing on the interest and not on the positions, inventing options for mutual gain, using objective criteria are some of the collaborative strategy for negotiation. Why a collaborative strategy? Because you will have a win-win result. Everybody will go home happy that having achieved something or the other. The other options are giving away everything or not giving away anything. But developing the procedures that are necessary to ensure both the parties have a win-win attitude after that, so that you will have a liking to implement the agreement is the best strategy, for which you need to establish a superordinate goals, not subordinate goals. You have to separate the people from the problem and look at it professionally, clinically, independently, objectively. You have to focus on interest of each of the party and the common interest and keep the common interest above everything. And you should not take positions or look at positions, but invent innovative, creative options for mutual benefit. This is how the negotiation happens. Negotiation is an important skill when you have to work with another human being, because there are always room for some conflict or some problem to crop up. Thanks for watching this video. Please keep coming back for more such sessions on shoring up your life skills.